By the 1950s and 60s, most of Avramenko's protégés had retired. The Iron Curtain of the Soviet Union had effectively cut us off from contact with Ukraine. Meanwhile, Ukrainian dance in Canada began to take on a life of its own. Although many Ukrainian Canadians were already third and fourth generation from the original pioneers, audiences became more sophisticated, critical, and demanding. Ukrainian dance became ever more spectacular as Ukrainian Canadians were exposed to a wide variety of theater and performing arts activities. The Ukrainian nationalist movement felt it was our responsibility to maintain and preserve Ukrainian culture here in the West. A number of Ukrainian dance choreographers immigrated to North America after the Second World War. Soviet-Ukrainian stage dance helped the Canadian community increasingly after 1961 through tours, videos, and workshops. There was a huge ethnic revival in Canada in the 1960s, and it became sort of cool to be Ukrainian. Female dancers became more prominent. Equality was achieved both on the stage with their own solos as well as in leadership roles. The concept of storylines became a dominant factor in the culture of Ukrainian Canadian dance. In Edmonton, two non-affiliated dance groups became an influential and permanent presence on the scene. In 1959, the Shumka Dancers were created, and in 1969, Cheremosh. It was during this time that Ukrainian dance in Canada captured the hearts and imaginations of all Canadians alike.
Well, I was teaching at St. John's, and I was teaching at UNO, basically. I thought, well, I'm going to round up dancers from both groups and see if I can get them to work together.
The momentum was there, and sometime soon after, many groups and clubs were created throughout Canada. Not only in the large centers, but also in towns just like Kalmar. It was the students of Chester Kutz that were the first instructors with Zirka.
You know, we had this one group in Kalmar. Man, the people clapped, and they clapped because they loved it. And that's what you want to duplicate, because it gives these dancers a feeling of, hey, yeah, we got something here, you know, let's go with it. And I like cultivating those kids to that level.
Over the years, many dancers from Zirka went on to dance in Cheremosh, Shumka, Volya, and even the Flying Cossacks. The choreography that evolved was often shaped by two different forces. One was the pressure for authenticity, and the other was the desire for creativity. Standards had changed quite significantly since the time of Avramenko. Today's dances are much more complex and densely structured. Similar to Ukraine, dance in Canada has tended to incorporate many elements of classical ballet into its movement styles. Other forms like theater, modern dance, and acrobatics have also become commonplace. Ukrainian purity is not always the biggest concern. Ukrainian dance now accepts many international elements, including occasional gypsy dances as well as sailor dances with a clear Russian influence. These dances are seen as attractive because of their varied costumes and movements.
We were looking for new sources of new material, and that's when we started doing more of the regional dances, a lot more than Shumka had been doing.
In the 1980s and 1990s, dances representing Volyn, Polisia, and Transcarpathia became popular even though most Ukrainian Canadians came from Bukovina and Halachina. Unable to go to villages and learn traditional village dance or study at an institute in Ukraine, Ukrainian Canadian instructors began to choreograph using their own creative ideas. What became most important is that participation in Ukrainian dance is an expression of being Ukrainian, and the dances symbolize Ukrainian culture. Ukrainian dance has evolved to be many things. For some, it's about the culture.
Or I'm proud every time I see, I'm proud to be Ukrainian. I am really, you see these Easter eggs and the costumes and the dances. Like I even have a pin, I'm proud to be Ukrainian.
For others, it's about the friendships and the community.
We enjoy being with the people, and it seems doesn't matter where you go, you always learn something new. You're never too old to learn.
Some are involved because of their love of dance.
When you look back and what you compare with what we have now, it's just, we've made great strides.
I commend anybody who takes a chance and takes a stand and says, I want to do this kind of dancing, because who wouldn't? I mean, you look at Ukrainian dancing, what's more exciting to watch?
You challenge yourself, you keep your body healthy, and I don't know, it's amazing. It's dancing, it's amazing stuff.
Ukrainian dance in Canada embraces all of these elements.
And I don't think that should be lost, because that's something cellular, and it's something that should stay, and you know, that's we got to keep that going. We got to keep it